Kemp is over the goal line to score on the year.
We're gonna be here all day, baby. I like this kind of party.
Rush the quarterback.
Hi, I'm Steve Sabol of NFL Films, and welcome to the NFL's Greatest Ever series. Now, this is a three-part video collection, and we'll present the very best of the first 75 years of the National Football League. Now, we spent 2 years researching our film library for this and deciding what should make the final cut. Well, boy, I'll tell you, that wasn't easy. But also, that was half the fun. Now, in Volume 1, we'll take a look at the greatest plays. We'll present a series of top 10 lists in the following categories: catches, tackles, returns, interceptions, and throws. And we'll take a special look at the greatest touchdown in NFL history. So let's get started with one of my favorite categories. Here now are the top 10 catches in NFL history.
Great catches become even greater when they occur in a game's frantic final seconds. And when it comes to putting receivers in position for greatness, John Elway has few equals.
Again, Elway being rushed. Quick pass. Caught by Vance Johnson. Breaks to the 30.
He's engineered 34 fourth-quarter comebacks.
585, hut. Elway hands the ball off to Rivers. Rivers at the 10, at the 5, touchdown! Look at Elway.
Never say never. Never say never.
This guy will go down as the greatest come-from-behind player in National Football League history.
Elway's talent under extreme pressure first gained national prominence in the 1986 AFC Championship. Elway guided the Broncos 98 yards in the game's final minutes. He culminated the drive with a fastball to Mark Jackson, who got low enough to use his body as a third hand. The 10th greatest catch of all time allowed Denver to win in overtime and remains Elway's most dramatic comeback.
Good ball line up here. Got to take it down, fella.
You'd need a program to find Max McGee in Super Bowl I. He wasn't scheduled to play at all, but fate intervened. When Boyd Dollar was injured, head coach Vince Lombardi called on McGee. And he scored Green Bay's first touchdown with the 9th greatest catch of all time. Despite catching only 4 passes during the regular season, McGee displayed amazing dexterity. Green Bay won, and McGee's hangover from staying out too late the night before suddenly didn't feel so bad. Strange events occur when teams need a score on the last play of a game. Often, they throw it up and pray for a miracle.
He is going long down the near sideline. It's going to be a jump ball, and it is pulled down by Billy Johnson. Johnson inside the 10, 5. He is down. He is. Give it to him. He's in. Touchdown, Atlanta.
9 seconds. We overload. 3 to the right. Trips are on the right. We're going Hail Mary. There goes Tolliver. A long, high pass. Down in the corner. Batted.
Twice the Falcons have beaten the 49ers with a wing and a prayer, which is kind of ironic when you consider San Francisco invented this type of pass. The 49ers had a receiver named R.C. Owens who could outjump almost any defender. In 1957, Y.A. Tittle used this pass, the alley-oop, to beat the Lions 35-31, the 8th greatest catch of all time. 23 years later, the Vikings used a different version of the alley-oop. They called it Squadron Right. Ahmad Rashad pulled it in to win the 1980 NFC Central Division. But the most famous wing and a prayer belongs to the Cowboys. Their Hail Mary to Drew Pearson beat the Vikings in a 1975 NFC playoff game.
Well, the Cowboys need a miracle. Roger takes the snap, pumps it once. He's going long. Down the near sideline for Drew Pearson. Pearson makes the catch at the 5. Touchdown! Staubach hit Pearson on a 50-yard touchdown. Would you believe it?
The old saying, great players make the great plays, is especially evident in big games. In Super Bowl X, Lynn Swann vowed to catch the first pass thrown his way. In Super Bowl XIV, John Stallworth made a state-of-the-art over-the-shoulder catch.
Downfield, there goes Stallworth. He pulls it in at the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5.
And in a 1977 AFC playoff, Dave Casper's concentration never wavered. It's common for a receiver to slow down while locating a deep pass, but during the ghost to the post, Casper never broke stride. On long throws, receivers must keep their body between the ball and the defender, which is exactly what Stallworth did when Bradshaw called Johnny Go Deep. But the most illustrious example of aerial artistry is Swann's levitating leap, the third greatest catch of all time. None of these three were game winners. Casper's catch set up the tying field goal, and in the second overtime period, he personally ended the longest game in Raider history. Stallworth's grab led to Franco Harris's game-clinching score and the Steelers' fourth Super Bowl victory. Swann accented his catch with the Steelers' winning score, earning Super Bowl MVP honors. Pittsburgh was the team of the 70s, thanks in part to the Raiders, who ended the Miami dynasty in a 1974 AFC playoff.
You'll never see a better game than this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you'll agree. There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's caught, he throws. It is!
Frankly, it was maybe the greatest football game I have ever seen. It was just incredible.
In this sea of hands, Clarence Davis somehow came away with the ball. While the second greatest catch of all time ended one dynasty, the greatest catch of all time launched another. In the fourth quarter of the 1981 NFC Championship, San Francisco trailed America's team, but the 49ers were blossoming into champions. They mixed high percentage passes with an unexpected run, edging ever closer to their date with destiny. For the first time in their careers, Joe Montana and Dwight Clark started every game in 1981. This final drive helped them come of age. As the 49ers neared the goal line, Montana floated a pass to Freddie Solomon. Head coach Bill Walsh wanted only decisive throws.
Tell Freddie to split about 6 or 7 yards on this thing, and then get his up that field, and you watch that safety, okay?
So fasten your seatbelts now. We've got turbulence and plenty of it here at Candlestick Park. The season, the outcome of a Super Bowl berth hangs in the balance. Montana rolling out the right, looking toward the end zone, throwing under pressure, throws his pass. Caught by Clark. Not a touchdown. Dwight Clark has it. It's a touchdown.
The game-winning score is simply known as the catch. Montana waited until his receiver became open and then threw the ball where it couldn't be intercepted. Clark displayed textbook perfect form, shaping his hands into a triangle, drawing the greatest catch of all time down with his fingertips. Textbook receptions are something to applaud, but there is a storybook quality to the greatest catches of all time. They're larger than life and linger forever in our memory.
Vince Lombardi described tackling this way. When a guy has just robbed your house and is running down the street with everything you own and you're trying to stop him, that's what tackling is. Well, now that we know what tackling is, let's count down the top 10 in NFL history.
Fourth down at the goal line. About a foot to go.
On a goal line stand, football players don't match wits. They bang heads.
Elway, hands off. Stopped. Gary Reasons. Great play by Gary Reasons. Threw his body right at Humphrey and crumbled him.
Gary Reason saved the Giants' late-season win in Denver, and they soon clinched the NFC East by the margin of that one game. In Super Bowl XVI, the 49ers led 20-0 at the half. The Bengals had closed it to 20-7, and later in the third quarter had the ball 3rd and goal, inches from cutting the Niner lead to just 6. Linebacker Danny Bunz stopped running back Charles Alexander, and the Bengals failed to score. The Niners held on to win their first Super Bowl by just 5 points. In Super Bowl 27, the Cowboys led just 14-7 when they faced down the Bills.
It's a 1-yard line. Giant!
3rd down and goal, less than a yard. And the handoff and a bang at the goal line. And he's pushed back. He didn't get in. Oh, my goodness. The Cowboys have turned them back. Kenny Norton makes a huge hit. He makes the play.
Lead blocker Carwell Gardner took out Dixon Edwards, opening a huge hole. But Ken Norton closed it on Kenneth Davis instantly. Dallas held and went on to rout Buffalo 52-17. Great tackles aren't always feats of strength. Washington Redskins cornerback Darrell Green proved that there is power in speed when he caught Cowboy gamebreaker Tony Dorsett from behind. Watch Green, number 28, entering from the bottom of the screen. Green ran with the winds of change at his back, signaling the end of the era when offensive players like Dorsett were the fastest men on the field. But in the era of the two-way player, the Cleveland Browns' Bill Willis, number 30, did Green one better, chasing down Giants halfback Gene Roberts.
Into the clear, and with a blocker in front of him, is pulled down from behind by Bill Willis's diving desperation tackle.
Willis preserved the Browns' 8-3 win, and Paul Brown's team advanced to its first championship. On such plays are dynasties begun, like the tackle made by the 49ers rookie cornerback Eric Wright in the game better remembered for the catch.
I think the catch was a big play in the game. I think what I would say, especially being a defensive player, is that it's what happened after that play. I think Eric Wright making the play to save the game, to pull down Drew Pearson, to keep them out of field goal range.
Without Wright's tackle, the catch might have been just another pass completion. But the 49ers won the game, and 2 weeks later, their first Super Bowl.
History could have definitely been different if Eric doesn't make that play.
Sometimes personal history makes a tackle great, and it made Steve Largent the only offensive player to make the list of the NFL's 10 greatest tackles. On opening day 1988, Largent was knocked out of the game on an illegal hit by Denver's Mike Harden, for which Harden was fined by the league. But real justice would come later that season, when Steve Largent showed that when it comes to tackling, an ounce of vengeance is worth a pound of experience.
The end zone, 2 yards deep, will run it out, takes it up to the 10, 15, out to the 20, he's on his feet. All right, Largent, the ball comes loose, the Seahawks may get it back.
I mean, Largent just unloaded on Mike Harden. Holy smoke, what a play.
Steve will want to put that over his mantle, right on the fireplace.
That's better than any touchdown catch he's ever made, right there.
In 1966, the Baltimore Colts were all that stood between the Green Bay Packers and the playoffs. Trailing by 4 in the closing moments, Johnny Unitas led the Colts to the 15-yard line. Then came number 87 Willie Davis and what was called the $1 Million Fumble. The Packer dynasty marched on to win Super Bowl I. Like Unitas, Joe Montana seemed to embody his team's success. He had the Niners on the verge of a record 3rd straight Super Bowl, leading the Giants 13-9 with 10 minutes to play. Then defensive end Leonard Marshall pulled his team off the floor for one last shot at Montana. The impact of Marshall's tackle forced Montana out of the game, and the 49ers made only 1 first down the rest of the way. Marshall's sack led to 1 field goal. Later, he watched Matt Barr attempt the game winner with 4 seconds left.
Plenty of distance.
It is good. Good.
And the Giants are going to Tampa Bay. It's over for the three-peats.
They have ended the reign of the San Francisco 49ers.
Hey, Joe, are you still using that greasy kid stuff on your hair?
In 1960, Frank Gifford was the NFL's glamour boy. Late that season, he would run into a man of distinctly different grooming habits.
The clock is running down. It's about 1.5 minutes to play in the game. Gifford swings out of the backfield, comes down the field, across, down and in. They're dangerous. That's like a Volkswagen going down a one-way street, and a Mack truck is coming the opposite way.
Frank Gifford caught the ball underneath of Bednarik, and he was trying to get to the sideline to stop the clock. Well, he got stopped. I mean, he got hit. Bednarik hit him, and he just leveled Frank. I mean, Frank was level and knocked him cold, of course. And Frank missed a whole year of football the following season. That's how hard he got hit. I thought Bednarik killed him.
His head snapped. He went backwards, and the ball flew in the air. And there it was. Chuck Weber fell on it. I knew the game was over. I had no idea where Frank Gifford was, and then when I saw him recover the ball and I turned around, and then simultaneously I was with a gesture like this, standing over him, and I said these exact words: "This effing game is over." And it would appear by the picture that I'm gloating over him. I wasn't gloating over him. I had no idea that he was there.
And so Chuck Bednarik celebrated the tackle that saved a 17-10 win, the turning point on the Eagles' road to the 1960 World Championship. Today, we celebrate it as the greatest tackle in NFL history.
Historically, the great kick return men of the NFL have been relegated to the margins of the record book. In fact, it wasn't until 1977 that a kick return specialist was even named to the All-Pro team. But we've decided to give these game breakers a deserved break. Here are the top 10 greatest returns in NFL history.
Five days before his NFL debut, Deion Sanders was playing baseball for the New York Yankees. But by Sunday, Deion had traded spikes for hikes and became the first man to hit a home run and return a punt for a touchdown in the same week.
Deion drifts to the left, takes it on to 32, dropped it. Picked it up, one man missed him, another man missed him. Now he's going wide off to the right. Deion to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40. My God, Deion Sanders is going to score! My God!
Deion's fleet feet may have been an incredible first game, but the final game of 1947 goes at one better. With the Chicago Cardinals leading the Eagles 14-7, Hall of Famer Charlie Trippi ensured the Cardinals their only league title by becoming the first man to return a punt for a touchdown in a championship game. Trippi's trip was nothing compared to the Saints' Charlie Brown's odyssey. Incredibly, 9 of the 11 opposing players get a piece of Brown, but none bring him down. Feel free to count along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Of course, making 9 men miss is one way to score, but generally the key to a great return is making the first wave of defenders miss. And that's exactly the tack the Packers' Walter Stanley took on Thanksgiving Day 1986.
Walter Stanley at the 16-yard line to the 20. Come on, Walter, you got to get this way. Walter trying to go the other way.
Hey, looky here, he is gone.
45, come on,
He
Walter.
is gone.
He's going. He's got to score for the Packers. No flag, and he has scored the touchdown, and the Packers lead with 41 seconds.
Stanley's sprint was the game winner. which makes it hard to beat in terms of drama. But speed isn't always of the essence. Take the Steelers' Roy Jefferson's bold move into the heart of the Cardinals' kick coverage. Jefferson doesn't reach top speed until the play is all but decided, but it's a decidedly exhilarating play. The first man to specialize in kick returns was the 49ers' Abe Woodson. With an array of quick moves, Woodson could go from sitting duck to sitting pretty.
The Detroit Lions kick off to the 49ers. Abe Woodson has it on the 3-yard line. Woodson follows a wedge of blockers upfield, then goes into business on his own. Woodson, a former hurdles champion at Illinois, gets little practice as he leaps over a teammate on the fanciest kickoff return of the year.
On Thanksgiving Day, 1980, the Bears tied the Lions on the final play of regulation. Then, on the kickoff to start overtime, Dave Williams accomplished something which had never been done before and hasn't been done since.
Here in overtime, Davey Williams at the 5, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. Break through to the 25, to the 30. Coming to the near sideline. He's to the 40. He's to the 50. He may score. He's going to win it. A kickoff return by Davey Williams. 95 yards. And the Bears win it in unbelievable fashion. Davey Williams, 95 yards. Do you believe that? A 95-yard kickoff return, and the Bears are absolutely going crazy.
Well, I remember the game because it was very cold, and we were concerned about the weather, and I think the score was tied up. And I just remember getting the ball close to the sideline, and people may not believe this, but I had a punt return exactly like that in college, where I jumped over the guy, and basically that was it. But I just remember the excitement of it being the winning touchdown, and I think that's what every young kid dreams of.
To the 45, far side 40, a seam to the 35, vaults a man to the 30, breaks it to the near side 25, watch out to the 20, near side, he's gone, touchdown, Washington Redskins. Darrell Green returns the punt 50 yards.
That return is now part of the collective football memory, but the question is, was the hurdle planned?
Oh, no. I mean, I maybe know a little bit, but I didn't know that. No, that's a reactionary kind of a thing, but it certainly felt good.
Only momentarily, however, because most of us also remember that Green pulled a muscle on that play.
Right then is when it was pulled, and as you can see on the film, I basically, as a medical guy, put direct pressure on it, and I was able to make it into the end zone.
And thanks to his return, the Redskins not only went on to win that game, but kept on winning all the way through Super Bowl 22. The second greatest return, not surprisingly, belongs to the NFL's all-time punt returner.
Get back, get back, get back, get back.
Billy White Shoes Johnson.
He just kept running. You know, I stand on the sideline, every now and then I'd see him, hi Billy, and he'd come back over in a minute, he'd come back by. God, they couldn't touch him.
Johnson's uncanny combination of speed and balance makes his selection as the punt return specialist on the NFL's 75th anniversary team an easy pick. And while his masterpiece is worth a second look, his is not the greatest return in NFL history. That honor was earned nearly 30 years ago on a muddy field in Chicago. It was, by all accounts, a very good day.
I scored 6 touchdowns that day. Probably could have scored 8 if they would have let me play, because we was going that well.
But the last touchdown I scored was an 85-yard punt return, and probably had to work the hardest on that particular run than any other run. And I caught the ball and on the right side of the field, and I made a couple moves, and everybody started flying by me, but it seemed to me the field was very, very dry. I didn't slip at all, and made a couple moves and went for the touchdown.
Called the Kansas Comet because of his speed, that nickname also reminded us of his otherworldly abilities. Moving as if propelled by celestial forces, Sayers treated fans to his own version of the divine. To the fans, it was pure magic. To Sayers, the greatest return of all time was simply natural.
Did some things going back across the field, faking out some people, and then come sliding by, but Gale kept right on going. You don't teach that. You don't go out on the practice field and practice those moves. You feel those moves within yourself. You feel people around you, and you make a move. But as far as trying to teach it on the practice field, no, it can't be taught. It's a God-given instinct. Number one, no question about it, mainly because it was on a very, very muddy field. And that due to things I did on that particular run, it took a little effort and took a little balance and some, whatever.
The criteria that we use to select the greatest interceptions of all time are as follows. The significance it had in determining the outcome of the game. The significance of the game itself. Did it help a team get into the playoffs or advance in the playoffs? Was it returned for a touchdown? And finally, the sheer athletic brilliance of the interception and the return. We now present the 10 greatest interceptions in NFL history.
A.J. Dewey was Miami's designated rover. And with the Dolphins leading 7-0, Dewey drifted into the passing lanes to snag his third interception of the day. His 35-yard fourth-quarter touchdown clinched the 1982 AFC Championship for the Dolphins. In a 1974 divisional playoff, the Rams led by 3 points in the fourth quarter. The Redskins were in field goal range when Merlin Olsen deflected Sonny Jurgensen's pass, and it was picked off by Isaiah Robertson. He bobbed and weaved 59 yards for the final score, clinching the Rams' first playoff victory since 1951. Minnesota led the Rams 17-13 in the 1976 NFC Championship. For a brief moment, the Vikings' 4-point lead appeared to be in jeopardy, but Bobby Bryant stepped in to save the game. Minnesota advanced to its fourth Super Bowl. The seventh greatest interception of all time wasn't a game saver. It wasn't even in a playoff. Still, rookie Alvin Randolph's 94-yard interception return ranks as one of the best ever.
Got to take it down, fella.
A strong pass rush helped turn the first Super Bowl into a blowout. With the Packers leading 14-10, Willie Wood picked off an underthrown toss and returned it 50 yards. Wood made it to the 5, and from there the Packers scored the first of their 21 second-half points. The sloppiest Super Bowl ever played was ultimately decided by a less than perfectly executed play. In the final minute of a tie game, Mike Curtis intercepted a tipped pass and returned it to the 28-yard line. With 9 seconds left, the Colts kicked the winning field goal. It was an interception that propelled the Dolphins into Super Bowl VI. Leading 7-0 in the second half, Dick Anderson intercepted a deflected pass, and behind a wall of 6 open field blocks, serpentined 62 yards for the score. On 4th and goal from the 2, the Cowboys had one chance to tie the game, but a missed block made Don Meredith unload early. Tom Brown, a former pro baseball player, shagged the fly to secure the Packers' second straight championship title. The Raiders led 14-12 with 2 minutes remaining, but the Browns were in field goal range. However, they elected to go for 6.
The red slot right, halfback, stay 88. Let's go.
It's known as the mistake by the lake, but let there be no misunderstanding. Mike Davis planned it all the way. He trapped Brian Sipe into thinking Ozzie Newsome was open, and then closed in to make the play of a lifetime. The Eagles had come back from a 21-point deficit without their quarterback, Randall Cunningham.
Randall's hurt. Randall's coming off with a limp, and the Jet fans are cheering.
Trailing by 2 points in the fourth quarter, Eric Allen picked his way through a maze of tacklers, going 94 yards with the greatest interception in NFL history.
Intercepted by Allen, spinning at the 10, out to the 15, the 20, cutting to his left at the 25-30. Allen at the 40, Allen at the 45-50, 45-40. Eric Allen down the far sideline, stepped over a man. He's going to go! Eric Allen, but the miraculous return of an interception.
It was a play that almost never occurred.
So after I catch the ball, I'm thinking to myself, I should get out of bounds because something's going to happen crazy. I look upfield and I see 2 Jet players like walking off the field like, oh, this guy's, he's going out of bounds. So I say, hold up. I'm going to try and get as many positive yards as I can. And I seen the hole open up. And I said, if I can make it through the hole, I can make something happen. Right there, I'm looking, and this is the hole I need to get through. I heard a lot of people pitch the ball, come this way, do that, So I kind of veer off left, and Ben comes, and he gets the block on Mitchell for me. It's clear sailing after that. And so I look straight, and I see Randall there with crutches.
Should be in a museum.
Just gained the ball and said, hey man, we're all with you, and have a good workout and come back as soon as you can. I said it was 94 yards, but it seemed like about 200.
Eric Allen's interception, the greatest in NFL history.
There's nothing prettier or more dramatic in the game of football than a perfectly thrown pass. Unfortunately, delivering that perfect pass is one of the most difficult feats in all of sports. A quarterback must combine a strong arm with a delicate touch and a crisp sense of timing. And he has to avoid 300-pounders who are trying to dismantle him. Here are the greatest throws in NFL history.
In 1990 against the Chiefs, Dave Craig was a beaten man. The Seahawk quarterback was sacked an NFL single-game record 7 times by Derek Thomas, but escaped Thomas's 8th sack on the game's final play.
Gotta find a seam. He's back. Thomas is there. He slipped away from Thomas. Craig back throws it. Caught in the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown Seahawks! It is caught in the end zone. The Seahawks are going to win the ball game. As Scansy got it.
Unbelievable. The crowd absolutely
They're shocked.
nailed to the seat.
And that's the last play of the game.
game. Unbelievable.
Craig's game winner was thrown under an intense rush and into heavy traffic. But in 1993, John Elway threw Seattle for a loop by making this escape seem effortless.
Elway, here comes the blitz. He steps away from it and lets the pass go long. He's gone for a touchdown.
You're kidding me.
Elway was submerged, jumps up, and throws a strike to Shannon Sharpe at the 4-yard line.
Well, you gotta be kidding me. This is a great throw. This is about as good a throw as I've ever seen him make.
The greatest throw by a non-quarterback came by Giants Hall of Fame halfback Frank Gifford, who gave new meaning to jump-starting an offense. Gifford's jump pass helped beat the Browns and propelled the Giants into the 1958 playoffs. But the high-flying acrobatics of Gifford were in direct contrast to the down-in-the-dirt, in-your-face toughness of Johnny Unitas.
I remember in Chicago, my particular man that I was blocking hit him and tore all his mouth loose. He had about 17 or 20 stitches put in it. And we was trying to stop the blood on the field from bleeding. And Alex Sandusky reached down and picked up a hand of mud. He thought to pack his nose full of mud, we could stop it from bleeding. But the blood just kept coming. We had 8 seconds or 9 seconds left on the clock. And I looked at him and I couldn't look him in the eyes. And I looked in the hole and he looked at me and said, "That's all right, baby." So we'll get him next time.
Unitas played through the pain and found Lenny Moore for the game-winning score. But at least Unitas had a few minutes to recover from his injury. In 1988, Seattle's Kelly Stauffer completed a picture-perfect deep post on the same play that he stumbled and broke his nose in a collision with teammate Kurt Warner.
Sergeant motion back toward the formation. Stopper stumbles as he goes back to pass, goes down, gets up, and now cranks up, throws a deep ball to Butler. He's got it. Touchdown,
Unlike Stauffer, when the Eagles' Pete Lisk lost his footing in 1971, he preferred to let fly by the seat of his pants. But the greatest improvisational throw came in 1982, courtesy of Houston's Archie Manning.
First to Casper, hit in the backfield. Now laterals back to Archie Manning. The ball is bouncing free. Archie has it. He's scrambling all the way back to the 20-yard line.
No throw in history required quicker thinking or a more impressive underspin.
He underhands it upfield. It's caught! Run throw at the 40, to the 50. He may score. No, he's caught from behind. He'll miss the first down by 1.
In the 1969 AFL Championship in Oakland, the Chiefs faced a 3rd and 14 from their own 2-yard line midway through the third quarter.
We knew that we couldn't give them too many more opportunities in our territory, so the 3rd and long situation was critical at that point of the ball game. We had to have it. 3rd down, I was looking, no, not just to get a couple of yards. I was trying to go for it all.
Len Dawson's brilliant deep fade to Otis Taylor sustained the Chiefs' game-winning drive.
It's a throw that you work on all the time in practice and hope that when you release that thing, you get the good release and you hope it's the right distance and you hope. There's a lot of hoping going on.
The play helped propel the Chiefs to a Super Bowl title, and another look at the Raider coverage by George Atkinson and Willie Brown shows why it may be the most perfectly placed pass in history.
That play was really significant because when we get down to it, it was the season, it was the championship, and the reason that we are all wearing these Super Bowl rings.
The Jets may never have won a Super Bowl had it not been for a pass thrown by Joe Namath in the 1968 AFL Championship.
Let's go! You gotta get it slow, offense!
When Joe Namath threw a pass, he usually just kind of flicked it off his arm. You seldom saw a lot of body motion. He went back like a javelin thrower and threw this ball. As he threw it, knowing how far he was trying to throw it, I came right up out of my seat. I can't ever remember doing that. I mean, he really threw it. And we figured it out geometrically that he had to throw that ball at least 75 to 80 yards, considering where he was on one side of the field and where Maynard was on the other side of the field with the angle involved.
Namath's launch into a gusting wind set up the game-winning touchdown and a trip to Super Bowl III, a game for which Namath may never have guaranteed victory had it not been for that throw.
That pass from Namath to Maynard, I always thought defined the Jets of that era. I mean, it was the greatest pass play I've ever seen.
It was the greatest pass up until the fourth quarter of Super Bowl X, when Terry Bradshaw read a Cowboys blitz, spotted Lynn Swann in single coverage with Mark Washington, and let fly with a game-winning throw. Bradshaw's 64-yard deep post soared more than 60 yards in the air, but Bradshaw never got a chance to admire it. On the play, Bradshaw was knocked senseless by Larry Cole after standing in against a relentless Dallas rush.
D.D. Lewis had the great opportunity, and he cried the blues to me. He was saying, if I only had him. I had him in my grasp, I just missed him. But he did miss him. Terry stepped up in the pocket, and he got the ball away.
It had all the elements of the toughest throws, coming under a heavy rush. A long pass placed perfectly over a receiver's shoulder, and, in the words of Sammy Baugh, the son of a was covered. And it made the Steelers champions, certainly easing the pain for Terry Bradshaw as he launched the greatest throw of all time.
There's no time for a top 10 list of the greatest touchdowns ever, because the number one touchdown is just so special. In fact, we've decided to take an in-depth look at the most memorable play in the NFL's 75-year history: the Immaculate Reception.
Steeler fans had abandoned hope against a place was the single greatest touchdown in NFL history. A miracle.
Crowd is standing, 50,000 of them, seeing their team go behind by 1 point. Hang on to your hats. Here come the Steelers out of the huddle. It's down to one big play. 4th down and 10 yards to go. Terry Bradshaw at the controls. And Bradshaw back and looking again.
Guy came up and put his hands up my face, and I moved back to the left. Another guy came at me, and I just cut loose with everything I had on him. I got these bodies on me, and I'm laying down on the field, and I hear this huge roar. Bad thing, something great has happened. The roar was unbelievable. And when I finally got up, people were coming off on the sideline. People were grabbing me and trying to pick me up, and I was, what happened? What happened? I didn't know what happened until we had gone inside in the locker room. It was just unbelievable.
When I reached the Steelers, I had this drive in me that I wanted us to be number one. And in that playoff game, it went down to the wire, and I just told myself, Franco, just play it all the way through.
Franco Harris!
He drops back, I look at him, I look at Franco. Franco's doing nothing. He missed his block. Bradshaw scrambles out that way. Franco comes jogging down the field. Half speed. He's my man, I'm jogging half speed with him. I saw Bradshaw throw the ball. I shot over to help make the tackle. Meanwhile, Franco, who had just drifted over there, it goes right to him. Had I been as lazy as Franco, that ball would have come to me at waist high. Now I spin around, I still can make the play. Mick Macon, who no one ever would remember, their tight end, smart player, dives right in the back of my legs. What's he got to lose? They're going to lose the game anyway.
And we should have had that football game, but we didn't get it. But to his credit, Mr. Rooney got it. He was in an elevator. He didn't even see the play. He was going down in the locker room. He told me later to congratulate this guy for having a great season. He thought they lost, which they should have. But there was nothing we were going to do to prevent it. And it's one of the great moments in National Football League history. It was a mistake, but it was one of those things. It was I guess it was an honest mistake. And Fuqua knows he hit it, and it should have been our game.
It is said that luck is unpredictable, but talent takes advantage of it. The Steelers certainly did that. And to this very day, we dream of that incredible play and of the next great touchdown waiting to amaze us all, just over the horizon, from out of nowhere.
From out of nowhere came Franco Harris, riding a white stallion down the field, heading up Franco's Italian army, charging under the football and galloping off into the sunset.
Well, that brings us to the end of Volume 1 of our three-part Greatest Ever series. I hope you'll join me for the second and third parts of our trilogy. In Volume 2, we'll recall the NFL's greatest players. And then in Volume 3, entitled The Game, we'll remember the greatest stories, the greatest feuds, the greatest single-game performances, and then we've got some miscellaneous fun facts that we couldn't figure out where to put, so we just put it in that volume. For NFL Films, I'm Steve Sabol.